up?
Guys, my name is Alex, and today I'm going to be joined by Invader Gaming,
Hello.
and we're going to be talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, and we're going to be doing a theory about Five Nights at Freddy's 3, so yeah.
Like, as you can see, like, in the picture, it may seem like Golden Freddy, but a brightened up image looks like it's Golden Foxy, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but...
Yeah, if you mirror the image, it kind of looks like Golden Foxy, which is, kind of weird. I still kind of think it's Golden Freddy, but, it's kind of weird.
But you can also see if it's brightened up, which it's not right now, but you can see, like, what seems to be, like, blood, which is really creepy.
Yeah. So, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's 3, a lot of people are saying because of the old text that said only one left, and 30 years later, a lot of people sometimes say that it's the killer saying, only that, he's still here killing, at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, and some people are saying that Golden Freddy is the only one left, which is probably not the case, just because that would not be a very good decision to only have one animatronic.
Which...
Actually 15, counting all the hallucinations and hidden animatronics. But, yeah, so I don't think he should really do one animatronic, and he's probably not going to scrap them. He has worked really hard on them, but yeah.
So, anyway, what, like, animatronics do you think will be in this game? Like,
Probably some new animatronics, introduced, but I think that, we're still gonna have, the toy animatronics too, because, he did work pretty hard on them, and it would be a little bit easier to get relieved from so many animatronics, but yeah.
so, like, the text that you see in this photo says, "I'm still here." So that probably means it's probably going to take place in the future, not in the past. So...
Yeah. And, he did write 30 years later on one of his texts, so yeah. It's probably, in 2017 or something, yeah.
That would be interesting because you could see how the tech of animatronics improve. Maybe they could be more smarter, and maybe they could know how to take down the power or whatever.
Oh, yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yes, it would.
So I'm really not sure how this is gonna go. I think the power will probably be introduced. I don't know why. The power will be reintroduced. I don't know why. I just feel like it really will be. But yeah.
But if you look really closely in the mask, you can see that it looks like a human's like veins.
Yeah. That is what I'm talking about when I said that it could be the killer in the Golden Freddy suit, because that is what he used to kill the other children to make them haunted and stuff. Yeah.
Well, yes, that's a good point, because it could be the killer for a couple of reasons. Because one, the human eye looking in the eyeball cutouts things, and then the blood could indicate that he probably murdered somebody.
Yeah. And I don't know what the 1 year the 30 years later meant, and I mean one left meant. But now that I think about it, it probably meant something else, and one thing that it could have meant is one game left, because it would be a little weird to keep making like Five Nights at Freddy's all the way to Five Nights at Freddy's 6, 7. That would just get kind of repetitive, and but I mean, I really wish it didn't have to like stop, but I mean, it would only be one game left.
Which I hope Scott is taking his time on this game, because if it's going to be the last game, we want it to be the best, obviously.
Yeah.
So, like, we think maybe, like, the killer is, like, 30 years later, you're working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, right? But the animatronics don't recognize him as a human. They recognize him as an animatronic. So maybe he's one of the threats too. So
Hmm, I don't know, but in the other games, they were always out to kill him, and except for you, they thought you were an endoskeleton and kind of stinks.
yeah, it's like there's a long history with this. If if you watch the game theories video, which has a lot of information in it, you can use that. He speculates that we thought what was Fredbear's Diner, which was the only animatronic there, because in one of the mini games in Five Nights at Freddy's 2, you like give cake to children or whatever, and there's only one animatronic there, and then if you look outside, there's like one child looking and crying, and then next thing you know, a purple man murders him.
Yeah, I played that mini game myself. And, yeah, so he did become the marionette. I think that the marionette will actually still be there, just because there's no point of scrapping the puppet, and, it would bring more cool stuff to the game.
Oh yes, it would be cool to see like all the animatronics 30 years later and see how they've improved or de-improved.
Mm, yeah. And a lot of people were saying before the picture came up that Golden Freddy will probably have a role, and then Golden Freddy actually seems to be in the picture. So I do think that Golden Freddy will have a big role in this game, because it does make sense considering we don't know much about him.
Oh, okay. I just thought of something. Maybe if like 30 years later, right? The Freddy Fazbear's Pizza and Freddy like the animatronic. Maybe like in one of the nights you get to have him as an animatronic, but in the next night, and the phone guy says like he's been scrapped because he's been like there for 30 years, and they replaced him with a new animatronic, Golden Freddy, and then like a couple nights later you start to recognize the animatronic changes because you don't see the endoskeleton and it looks like a human inside of the suit. And maybe he like I don't know if Scott would ever do this, but maybe at the end of the game he can reveal like the purple man or the killer.
Ooh, yeah. Um, yeah, that is pretty cool. I don't really know what else to say.
I know, it's just I mean there's a lot of good theories we can go on about. I mean,
Yeah. Um, So, yeah, considering we do have the 30 years later, I am still here. And also, if you go onto the website on a computer, and or if you're using a tablet with a keyboard on it, including like iPad minis, all that stuff, you can click Control U or something, and it will like show you some stuff in the website, and it will say "I remain." So yeah, so it's probably 30 years in the future, like it does, because it does say 30 years in the future and all that stuff.
like
So yeah.
yeah, like what I said about the Golden Freddy, if all the words of that you could see in the coding or in the picture apply to Golden Freddy because he hasn't been used. So they maybe use him in the future and he's still there, he still remains. He's there 30 years later.
Yeah. I also want to know some more backstory to the game, like who did cause the bite of 87. A lot of people say it's Mangle or Foxy, but it can't be Old Fox.
But
Old Foxy is all grown when it's up, and it couldn't have been Mangle because his jaw is too long and he needs to bite them with his endoskeleton, because they are kind of sharp, but they're still made of like plastic. So he would need to bite them with their metal endoskeleton.
some
So I don't know who was the bite of 87.
like some people say Freddy caused the bite of 87 because if you look really, really closely on his mask in the first game, you can see like a small handprint.
Oh yeah, and also the fact that he doesn't have to worry with the long jaw and stuff. But
Like,
yeah.
I mean, he could have like been possessed first, and he could have like, um, Well, no, I have an idea, but this is not Five Nights at Freddy's, but this could but it could lead to Five Nights at Freddy's 3, like Friday of 87. But if you think about it, um, you know how in one of the mini games, Mangle is supposedly giving life to the animatronics.
Yeah, the marionette. Yeah.
Maybe that's the day before the Bite of 87.
Oh. Um. Yeah, okay. See, in night 3, he's talking about the investigation
Mhm.
because and he's like somebody used one of the suits that we had a spare yellow one in the back on night 5 when it was figured out what happened, and then he's like on night 6, he's like, okay, we have one more scheduled event. Stay close to the animatronics, make sure they don't hurt anybody, and stuff. So I guess that the Bite of 87 happened on the last thing because he was having to stay close to the animatronics, and because they were possessed now, he knew to tell him not to make sure that they don't hurt anybody. So, yeah.
Maybe this could take place all of this is coming together because maybe the third game could take place in the past and in the future because
Oh,
I mean if you think about it, I mean he still remains. I mean it tells the story of the murderer. You maybe like you work night shift like the night that the Bite of 87 and the murder happened and all that, and then like 30 it happens like 30 years later that the killer comes back, and you probably don't hear like the same phone guy. It's probably a different phone guy, and you're wondering what happened.
well, I would say that in the first game, which is the sequel, because it was a
What?
prequel on the second game, but anyways, the phone guy actually dies, so yeah, that would make sense. Well, I mean, he supposedly dies. I think he actually faked his death, because it's, he had, like, all the animatronics coming at him. Couldn't really happen because he heard Foxy banging on the door, then Freddy's jingle, then Chica's moaning, and then Golden Freddy's jump scare. So yeah, I don't know if that can happen all at once because even if Chica got in your room, which is when she does her moaning, it wouldn't be okay for Golden Freddy to go and kill him. Yeah, I think he actually faked his death because he got the night. He was like, oh no, bro. Because, yeah, he used to do the other stuff, just doing the phone guy and stuff like that.
I wonder. Okay, this might be kind of not fit with this, but I mean, what if like at that he probably didn't die, but he probably somehow survived? Like they stuffed him in the Golden Freddy suit, and
Yeah.
maybe he has been like stuck in there, and maybe he acts like he plays dead. Like when all the employees like leave, so nobody knows he's there. So like at nighttime, like maybe he's like really like you know, like how Golden Freddy in the first game is like really droopy. Maybe he's like really injured, but he can still move.
Okay. Well, this is a pretty good theory and speculation video, but we are running up to the end of it. So I hope you guys and gals did enjoy this video. Thanks for watching, and peace.
Bye, guys.